Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel and to another video. What I thought I would do in this video would be talk about the ways in which you can stay motivated, whether that be during this lockdown or whether that be during your studies. I know many of you will have received your results recently and you'll be thinking about the next academic year and the work coming up. So what I thought I would do is just talk about how you can stay motivated, because I've struggled with that. When it comes to learning how to stay motivated, that's an ongoing process and something that you will learn over the course of your life, really, because there are going to be those moments where you'll have to face something challenging, you might have a difficult task and you might just feel deflated by it, or you might have had a very difficult day and you just don't feel like doing anything. And I've certainly been in that situation. So I thought I'd do just give some advice based on my own experiences about how to stay motivated. The first thing I would say would be to try and have some normal routines. One thing that I do, for example, on a morning is I would make myself a cup of tea and read a book. I do that. I've done that every morning since I think about lockdown started. The benefit of that is then I've got a little bit of a routine. I know what I'm doing in the morning. It gets me ready for the new day. And sometimes having that routine is important because then at least you've got a bit of a structure to the day. I know with the lockdown, structure and order has somewhat been thrown out of the window because, of course, many of us are at home, we're not in our usual environments, whether that be at university or in our workplace or whatever that might be. And so we're trying to adapt to these new circumstances. And that can be difficult, but one way you can stay motivated is by having that routine, but also by having an appropriate space. Even if it's only a very small space, maybe that's just a desk that you can work at least that'll help you to focus a bit more. I find certainly that I'm more motivated if I'm in the library, for example, than in my room at college. And I found that here in lockdown. I found that I am more focused, more able to work when I'm at a desk than if I'm sitting in my bed, for example. Having a routine, having somewhere to work can help to be a bit more motivated, be a bit more willing to work and get on with something. The other way to stay motivated is to have plans and prioritization of those plans. And what I mean by that is having dates in the diary, so having things to do, giving yourself tasks to do. And what I've tried to do is have a to-do list. I made a document on Excel which has got all the things I wanted to do over the summer or things I wanted to at least have a look at. So this would be things relating to, for example, my studies, some reading that I've got for next year, but also doing some research around career options. So thinking about the Inns of Court I might be considering, thinking about scholarships. So I've made a list of that, and I'm going to be honest, I haven't got through all of that because I've just been taking my time. Some days I am more productive, but at the very least, by having a list, a to-do list, things that I can look at, it helps to focus myself a lot more. I do find that I am more focused and more productive when I know what I'm going to be doing. If I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing or I haven't made it clear what I'm going to do that day, then I'm more likely to get distracted and do something else or delay what I should be doing in favor of just watching a YouTube video or watching something on Netflix, for example. So certainly having a plan is important, but also prioritization of that plan. In your studies, for example, you might have a piece of work that you need to hand in, an essay, for example, but you might also have a club that you go to or a society that you're a part of, or you might have an internship that you're taking part in, or you've got to be at this place. And you might find it some weeks that you've got loads of things in the diary, whether they be online or offline events, and you're wondering, how am I going to fit this all together? Try to prioritize what is more important in that situation and make a judgment call. At the end of the day, it will be about your judgment about what you think is the most important. So for example, if you've got an essay due in 2 days time, and you've got a society meeting in 3 days time, which you need to prepare for, you're probably going to put more attention into the essay because that is due in before your meeting with the society. So it's certainly important to have those plans, but also prioritize and know when to give more attention to one thing compared to another thing. Another way of staying motivated, which I found particularly useful during lockdown, is the trying of new opportunities. For example, I've taken part in virtual mooting competitions, I've taken part in some essay competitions, I've written an article, I've tried different things. Those examples, I've been able to look into areas of the law in more detail. I've been able to just do something different and try something I hadn't done before. And the benefit of taking advantage of these new opportunities is that you get to experience something new. You get to meet new people if you're taking part in a virtual internship, for example. So doing something new can help to bring something fresh, something different to your life. I know it might seem difficult at this stage where we are in lockdown, where physical opportunities are limited, but there are plenty of online opportunities. And what's been remarkable is the companies and the organizations that have been willing to put on webinars, virtual internships, just different things so that young people and others can get involved and at least get some experience, develop those important skills that are going to be useful later down the track. And it's the same thing, when you go to university, for example. I know many of you will be going to university for the first time. And what I would advise is you try and take advantage of those new opportunities. University is such an excellent time because you get to experience things you never experienced before. I can certainly testify to that. But I would definitely, look out for those opportunities. I know there's going to be limitations in terms of physical distancing, social distancing, but those opportunities are still out there. They might be in different forms, online, for example, but they are still out there. So definitely look out for those new opportunities. Another way of staying motivated is by staying connected with the people that you know and care about, even if those people are those you haven't spoken to in some years. And that can be as simple as just sending them a message saying, "Hi, I know it's been a while, but could we catch up? How are you doing? What's university been like, etc." And I know lockdowns are easing around the world in certain places, and you can meet people in the flesh, but it's still good to try and catch up with people online, whether that by Zoom or other platforms. I know I've attended social events online, like virtual spirited discussions put on by the Cambridge University Liberal Association, and those events have been really fun. Debating motions, but lots of humour, lots of fun, some alcohol involved, and so yeah, it's just a really good opportunity just to catch up with people. And by catching up with people, it's a way of staying motivated because it's just a nice way of just getting contact with people that you care about, and because we're all missing being with each other, being physically close to each other at this time. So at least by being able to keep in contact, we can just catch up with people and just see how they're doing. Staying positive is also another way of staying motivated. It's very easy, certainly at this time, to worry about when this lockdown is going to ease, or when will there be a vaccine, or will this happen, will that happen, will I get to this, will I get to that, will that be cancelled, when will that event happen, or whatever the situation might be for you. And that's understandable. I was in that certainly at the beginning of lockdown. I can remember when lockdown was announced, I had already had a very difficult time during Lent term. A lot of things had happened. A lot of things happened, and I was feeling down, and then the lockdown was announced, and that just made things worse. But what you come to realize is that ultimately, first of all, there are some things you just can't control. And a way of staying motivated is by recognizing that there are just some things you just can't change, some things you just have to accept, and some things not to say you have to ignore. You might want to still be aware of it, but you shouldn't dwell upon it too much and think, I've got to try and change this, where in reality, you're probably not going to be able to do anything to change it. And the other thing to just think about is just staying positive and, for example, being grateful about what you've got, or just thinking about, well, at least I've got this space to study, or at least I'm taking part in this competition, which I'm enjoying, or at least it's nice weather outside, or whatever that may be. Just, thinking of the positives. Those may be very simple things, but they're still very important. And that applies to studies as well. I've had times I've just mentioned where I've had studies and I've had a lot of things on, and I've had days where I've just felt, I just don't want to do this. I just don't want to do this piece of work. I love doing law. I love studying law, but I've had days where I just felt I can't be bothered doing that essay. I just don't feel like doing that essay. It's either boring, or I feel like I just don't want to do it, or I've had a really bad day, and that's understandable, because then that's just who we are. We're human at the end of the day. We have our good days and our bad days, but it's important to stay positive and just to look at the bright side of things, so to speak. And it's also important, as I said, with staying connected, reaching out to people. If you're having a difficult time, contact someone who you can trust, who you could disclose maybe something personal, for example, and just chat with them, and they might be able to give some friendly advice, or even just having someone to chat with, just having someone you can just let go of certain things and just, rather than bottling it up, you can at least tell someone about it. You don't have to tell the world about it, but you can tell someone that you trust. But certainly staying positive is a good way of staying motivated. The final way of staying motivated is actually by relaxing and taking breaks. And you might be wondering, well, how does that improve motivation, improve productivity? And it improves your ability to stay motivated because it's important to take those breaks. In some way, I use the analogy of us as a car. We need fuel, we need brakes. Eventually, if we go on too for long without any fuel, we just stop because we've run out of fuel. And in studies, for example, if you've got lots of work on, you risk burning yourself out if you try to do too much at once, if you try to commit yourself to too many things, or you try to get everything done in one day. I understand, and I've certainly had days where I don't like when I haven't done something. I'm always someone who wants to be able to do something productive or wants to just get something done. And I don't like where I've had a day in which I haven't done anything, or I've wasted time being distracted by YouTube videos or by Netflix or whatever it might be. But at the same time, you still got to take those breaks and look after yourself, look after your mental health. One of the things I've learned this year is how important it is to look after my mental health. I don't always succeed in the sense of I still have those days where I feel down, where I feel I don't want to do anything, or I'm just feeling negative about things. But I've learned how important it is to take those breaks and to look after myself. Because if you take those breaks, then at the very least you can feel a bit more motivated afterwards because you've stopped, you've relaxed a little bit, and then you can get on with what else you need to get on with. So those are just some tips about staying motivated based on my experiences. By no means are these tips, absolutely the right solutions for everyone. I'm still struggling with motivation. For the past couple of weeks, I've struggled a little bit with motivation. I didn't have a YouTube video out last week because I just didn't feel motivated to do one, to be quite honest. That's nothing personal against you at all. It's just I just didn't feel in the mood to do a video, and that's just understandable because we all have our good days and our bad days. So I just thought I would just give some advice about how to stay motivated. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to support the channel, a channel which is 2 years old, by the way. August 20th, 2018 was when I started this channel. It's now 2 years old, which I cannot believe. I'm so grateful for everyone who has supported the channel so far, especially those who've been with the channel from the very beginning. If you have enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, don't forget to do the usual things like liking the video, follow me on Facebook and Instagram, subscribe to the channel. How can you do that? You might be asking. Well, you can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner. But do hit that notification bell to keep up to date with any new content. Share the video, comment if you've got any questions, queries, suggestions for videos. Definitely looking for some suggestions. If you're a fresher and you've got some questions about, or an income fresher, I should say, and you've got some questions about university and what that's going to be like, put them in the comment section below. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.